Welcome back to Local 5 Live. If you're injured through no fault of your own, either in a car crash, a slip or a fall, another type of incident, when should you consider calling a personal injury attorney, and how does that process work?
Here to help us with some of the basics of personal injury law is Katelyn Sandfort, who is a partner and personal injury attorney at Herrling Law Firm. It's nice to see you.
Hi, good morning.
Well, let's start with the basics. When should someone consider calling a personal injury attorney?
So when you've been in an accident and it's the fault of another person, it could be another person in your vehicle if you're a passenger or another driver on the road. If you're injured, the sooner the better, frankly, is the best time to get a hold of us because, and this is true for any personal injury law firm, there's a lot of stuff that happens and insurance companies can be real predatory in those early days and weeks after an accident. So if you're injured, I always think reach out sooner rather than later.
What if you're not even sure if you have a case?
That's a great question. So I think a lot of people are hesitant to contact an attorney, right? People know it might be really expensive. They don't know what to expect. The nice thing about personal injury law is that there's no cost to reach out to us. So it actually happens frequently that we'll have someone reach out and they'll have a question about, do I need a lawyer right now? When should I come and meet? And that doesn't cost you a single thing to have that conversation with a paralegal or an attorney at our firm at Herrling Clark.
How does the process work when someone does contact you?
So usually what we do is after we've gone through the facts of the accident and make sure where everyone wants to meet and we don't have a conflict of interest, we set up an appointment for the client to meet with the attorney, and then we go through everything, what's happened in the accident itself, the injuries that that person has sustained. And then I usually like to talk through the process because this is a really scary time for people and they don't know what to do. They're thinking, how am I going to afford my medical bills? What if I can't go to work? So that meeting a lot of times takes like an hour, but I like to be really comprehensive so people have an idea, what do I do next? And that they know they have a partner to kind of get them through that process.
Well, you touched on it a little bit, but put people's minds at ease when it comes to the cost of hiring a personal injury lawyer.
Yeah, so the way that Herrling Clark works, and frankly most personal injury firms work, is that we're paid on a contingency fee. So that means you don't pay us a retainer, you don't pay us hourly. Instead, we only get paid if we're able to get a settlement on your behalf. So we get paid at the very end out of the settlement. You don't owe anything up front. And in the event we're unable to get a settlement, then we don't get paid anything. So it's only if the client wins that we end up getting paid.
Okay. What is the biggest mistake you see people making?
The biggest mistake I see people making is talking to an insurance company right away and accepting an offer and signing a release without talking to a lawyer, right? Because insurance companies are really good at telling people what they want to hear. And they say things like, it's all going to be fine. We're going to take care of this for you. And people want to believe that. So they oftentimes will reach out and offer an amount of money within days or weeks of an accident. And if you find yourself in that situation, I think it is incredibly important that you reach out to an attorney first. And sometimes the advice you might get is go ahead. If you're not really injured, you've only had one urgent care appointment and things are looking great. But a lot of times that's not the case. And people find themselves getting into a situation they can't back out of later on.
All right, well, you'll find Herrling Clark offices in Appleton, Green Bay, Oshkosh, and Wapaka, and they're always willing to meet where you are.
You can reach out to them at 920-739-7366 or get started online, herlingclark.com.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.